Okay. There we go. Okay, so we'll start with the CRM Analytics. So what I've learned about this was if we go to the CRM Analytics for Slack, this is an app you have to install on the Slack side. But if you have the CRM Analytics add-on to Salesforce, you should have it available. So in this documentation, I found out that it's available for use when approved by your workspace, works with the CRM Analytics and Salesforce Classic and Lightning. But I did notice that CRM Analytics is available for an extra cost and enterprise performance and unlimited. So I am on a developer plan to play with it, but it is an add-on cost. So keep that in mind before you get started. But I wanted to show some of the configuration I went through so you can get started with it as well. So the documentation here says we start in setup. So if we go to Slack and go to the Slack app setup, and again, I've been through this, so you're going to have to just go through this process. So you review the documentation, you agree the terms, you enable Slack apps, and I went to the CRM Analytics for Slack setup here. And this one basically tells you you're going to allow the headless browser service to make this functionality operable. I'll talk about this in a second, what it's actually doing and what that means. So then we got to assign some permissions. And if you look at the CRM for Slack Analytics permissions, go to here. They ship, I think the documentation must be out of date because they say to use the CRM Analytics notifications permission. And I didn't see that. So I did add myself to everything that said CRM Analytics. But then I did get stuck for a while because the next step after this, you go to install the Slack app itself. So you go to the Slack, the listing for CRM Analytics, you go to confirm. And this one says open in Slack. You would see install. And when you go to install, if you don't have a permission set, it will block you and say, you don't have a permission. There's some error. And what I discovered through kind of Googling around was if you go to this permission set here, I had to create a new one. And I called it, I think Slack. I think I called it Slack something. This was a little tricky to find. So hopefully this tutorial gives you a head start. So there's a systems permission that you want to assign to this newly created permission set. And it is connect Salesforce with Slack. Now, I'm not sure why there's not an out of box. If someone who's on the chat knows why that's not in a permission set, or if I missed it, let me know. But go ahead and add that permission set or the system permission to the permission set, then assign yourself to it, and then go through the install process, and then it will show connected. So once you have all that done, you'll see here, this will appear and you'll start to see some out-of-box settings. Okay, so the first thing I tried that was intuitive to me, and that actually showed up in a dashboard. So let's go back to Salesforce for a second. Go to a dashboard. And I made a kind of goofy dashboard just to play with sizing and whatnot. This little button here, post to Slack, appeared. And I thought, okay, perfect. I want to send this dashboard to Salesforce. Now, I'll show you what this does. But I also thought there must be certainly a way to subscribe to it and send it to Slack on a schedule. I don't know if they're not there yet. I couldn't figure out how to do that, but you still have the send by email that's still there. And you, of course, can send your recipients there, but there's no send to Slack. So I found that a little surprising. But let's go into the post to Slack that send this manually. So it says before posting Slack, make sure the recipients have access to the, I'm not sure if that's cut off or what that means, but um, I found this select a workspace. And I was a little surprised they showed the team ID instead of the workspace name. The workspace I created was called Centro Slack Dashboard example. Okay, so I'll select the team name, and then I'll select the channel to post it to. Notice that it's only showing me public channels, no private channels or DMs, and I'll pick the, we'll do the demo channel, post example from Salesforce. Okay, so we'll hit post. And it says the Lightning dashboard was posted to Slack. I do notice that this comes into the Slack channel, and it says, here's my note, and then it says shared by me, and then gives me some information about the dashboard itself, like which folder it's in and last viewed by. And I can't figure out a way to change those. I think those you can't change. Like this text here, I don't think is customizable. This text is customizable. That's what I sent over. And now I was a little surprised. Ignore this for a second. I'll show how to get there. That it didn't actually just post the image of the dashboard, but I did notice if you hit view details, I get this modal saying I can share it, view snapshot, or subscribe. So I'm going to go ahead and hit view snapshot. Your snap's being generated. You'll see it in the messages tab. Okay. And actually, because I'm in the Slack browser, or I'm in a Chrome browser, that's not going to work. They use the deep link. So let's go ahead and go. Just wait, and it'll pop into my messages tab, and voila, I can see in my instance of the app the dashboard show up. It's a little cut off here, so it's kind of a larger dashboard. So just keep that in mind. But it did show. Now, where I got stuck was, well, I wanted to really show it to the team in the channel, and if I log in as someone else, so I created another user called Hannah Demo, and let me pull that user over. Hannah can indeed see this post example from Salesforce, but when I hit view details, it says in this ephemeral, hi Hannah, thanks for using CRM Analytics. Now let's get you connected to Salesforce. What it appears to me is to say, you have to have a Salesforce license to use the app. So I guess that makes sense, right? If they're going to charge for the CRM Analytics app, they want people to actually be connected to Salesforce to see that data. Okay, fine. So I did figure out a workaround to this, and let me show you how. So it was not documented, and again, hopefully this video shows you how this will work. If you go to the CRM Analytics app, you notice here under subscriptions, you first have to subscribe to the dashboard. So make sure to come in here, subscribe to it. The same limitations apply that you can only subscribe to 7 dashboards at a time. But if you do subscribe to it here in Salesforce first, you'll then see that show up under Lightning Dashboard subscriptions. I was a little confused by this. I couldn't just add it from the Slack side, but you can see it does show up here. Now, once I see that subscription, I can then edit this. And these are the subscription settings that are on the Salesforce side. And you can see where it's going to set. It's going to show to general. And then here's this thing called snapshot, include snapshot. So I think there's a little bug here because if I hit include snapshot and hit done, I think it does save it to include the snapshot. But then when I go back into the subscriptions and hit edit, then it's cleared out that it didn't remember my value. But rest assured, I think it did save it. So I saw some examples of this working. I don't have time to wait until the next scheduled run, but let's show you what this looks like. So it is posting in the channel once you do that step. So let's review. You have to have a Salesforce user subscribe. The Salesforce user goes into the CRM Analytics app on the Slack side. They go into Lightning subscriptions, dashboard subscriptions. Then they check that little drop down that says View Snapshot. And when you do that, it will indeed post, again, not the custom message, but this little image like you saw in the CRM Analytics tab. So I think that is a workaround to show this to a team. Okay, so funnily enough, I'm going to get back to that headless browser thing. You'll notice one of my snapshots that showed up the other day includes like this like meet the guidance center. Like it shows some of the help messages and guidance messages that show up in Salesforce that you'll see when you're logged into Salesforce. Well, that headless browser, that's exactly what it's doing. Is it's logging in as you and showing a browser, and then whatever's in the browser is going to basically take a snapshot of and then push over as the image. So obviously this is not what they intended. So you can't, I'm not sure of a way to correct it actually, other than maybe go and view that screen and make sure you clear out any guidances. But yeah, that's what I discovered there. So hopefully you get a picture of how to do this with the CRM Analytics app. By the way, but from what I've read, I did a Google search because of this requirement that you work with the CRM Analytics app. I tried to understand the pricing here, CRM Analytics. And I'll pull up this page. And it basically looks like it starts at $75 a month. If someone knows in the chat that there's a different price or that's negotiable, it looks like you have to start at $75 per user to get that functionality I just showed. You get a bunch of other stuff, of course, but to get the send notifications to Slack, I think that's the bare minimum. Okay, so let's show you another way. Full disclosure, Centro is a Slack and Salesforce app. We've spent a lot of time developing our app and thinking through some of these problems and built things that we think are different and valuable to Salesforce and Slack users that you can't do out of box, and our customers get a lot of value out of. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and show you a way to do this in the Centro app. So Centro is, you've got two apps. It's a paid app on the app directory and Salesforce App Exchange. You get two install links, so you'll install in Salesforce, you'll install in Slack. And once you're installed, you simply go to the Centro app. And we have this concept of an automation user. So a lot of things you can do with a single automation user, meaning you can have people fill out forms or send dashboards and use one account to do so. So that will help you save a little bit on Salesforce license spend. Right now it says it's not connected. We're just going to go ahead and say connect to production, allow access. And we'll go to the Centro app here on the Salesforce side. And when we see this show up that says disconnect, it's showing the workspace name. We know we're connected. So we get a little green checkbox, we're ready to go. Now we introduced this concept of a Centro nudge. A nudge is maybe a little background on Centro. We'll have more series about some of the cool stuff you can do with it. Nudge is a concept that allows end users in Salesforce to create their own notifications from Salesforce to Slack without having to ask the Salesforce admin to do so. We heard a lot of system admins and RevOps managers get bogged down with minutia little requests they want from people to be notified of changes in Salesforce. And so we wanted to simplify that. And so what we did here is create this concept of a nudge. We'll call this dashboard example. I want to be clear, it's more than just dashboards. This will create us this new record. And we get these two options here. We get nudge when a record is changed or on a schedule. So when a record is changed, those are things like maybe an opportunity is set to closed and you want to notify the team and celebrate the win. Maybe it's um, a case is closed and you want to notify the support team. So this works very similar to how you might think it would work. So we just select an object, define our conditions. We get a little preview of what the nudge will look like in Slack, so we can get a little bit of comfort knowing what we're about to do. We can select some conditions. We'll say status equals closed. And then we can do things like pick a conversation. So we can pick a DM or a channel. So maybe we'll do the demo channel. We can put merge fields into this thing, and we really customize this message. So, case closed. We can put emojis in here. We can mention people. So pretty nice, easy interface to get started with. All I have to do then is activate, and my flow is ready to go, or my nudge is ready to go. What that does on the back end is actually creates a Salesforce flow. And we have a lot of tooling around Salesforce flow. So if you're familiar with flow, I'm going to do a whole series about that, but really quick and easy way for any Salesforce user to create their own nudge. Okay, but let's get back to dashboards. So we got on a schedule. And we can pick our schedule, kind of the typical things you'd see like date, time, frequency, daily, weekly. And then notification style is record details that match the conditions. We can do a list view. This is kind of cool. I do want to do this in another week to show you what this looks like, because dashboards are nice to get a quick glance, and executive teams love them to quickly see what's going on daily or weekly. But this is a really nice way to actually have actionable Salesforce data in Slack in a list. So we'll do that another time. So we're going to select dashboard. We'll pick our sales dashboard. We'll pick our channel, and we'll just change our message here. Again, we can make this really nice and say sales dashboard. And I don't know, make it a little fun. Now we'll just hit activate, and this will run on the schedule. So again, I'm not going to wait till 11:30. So I have a little trick here, right? Like I said, this creates a Salesforce flow. Let's go take a look at flows. We can run this manually. See what it looks like. So here we go. It says Centro nudge dashboard example. Open that up. And here's our schedule. Here's our notification. Everything's set the way we want. And we can just hit run to test it out right now instead of wait till the scheduled time. Oh, right. I have to debug, not run. Okay, I think that should work. Here we go, sending the nudge over. There's the custom message. It does take a second to generate that image. We're using a similar concept to actually do the headless browser, except we've iterated quite a few cycles on making sure we don't have those pop-up messages and whatnot. So here we go. Here's our dashboard. It's shared in the channel that we expected. Don't have to do that funny workaround, and no cutoff. So we see the whole screen and can make, we can have a discussion about it and have that information at our fingertips. By the way, it can go to any channel, it can go to DMs, it can go to private channels. So there's a lot of flexibility there. So, okay, summarizing, we did two different methods. I showed you the CRM Analytics app. and some of the workarounds to pull there to get your dashboards to show up in channels. And then I showed you an alternative way. I think it's a lot smoother and easier to get going with Centro. And if you ever have any questions, reach out to us. Centro.rocks is our website, and I'm happy to chat. Thanks for your time.